What's up, creamers? It's me, Hot Joe, and I'm here to talk to Turkey, like Ted Turner, about some professional wrestling.
If your uncle doesn't pay his bills down at the grocery store, you pay him for him. So,
You see, in our lives, creamers, we humans handle our conflicts on a day-to-day basis as civilly as we possibly can. However, if you are a professional wrestler, you handle your conflicts by beating your opponent to a pulp. So we're going to talk about what I believe to be the top 5 most brutal beatdowns in modern professional wrestling on this episode of Room for Cody. Send me a piece of that corn. Send me a piece of that corn for later. Number 5, Brian Cage and Gregory Iron. On October 7th, 2016, Brian Cage was set to face Gregory Iron in the first round of the Jim Lynam Memorial Tournament. Cage was in the ring waiting for his opponent to make his way to the ring, and out comes Gregory Iron holding a microphone and a juice box. Gregory Iron tells Brian Cage that it's nice to meet him for the very first time here in AAW as he casually sips on his juice box. Old Gregory Iron then proceeds to tell Brian Cage that they've got a lot in common, as Gregory Iron has a physical disability because he has cerebral palsy. He says Brian Cage has a mental disability. He then apologizes to Brian Cage for not bringing a juice box for him. He then says, but from the looks of it, you've got enough juice in you to last a lifetime. Damn! Brian Cage then proceeds to unalive Gregory Iron in a way that is only comparable to what Kendrick Lamar did to Drake.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Greg Iron actually has a video where he discusses this story from an actual backstage perspective. I'll put the link for that in the description. Number 4, Cody Rhodes and The Rock. Leading into WrestleMania 41, The Rock really kind of carried the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and the Bloodline story, including when he decided to straight up beat the living shit out of Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw on March 25th, 2024. The Rock threw Cody Rhodes around backstage. He even threw him outside in the pouring rain and beat the crap out of him there, like Blade Runner style.
Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it?
He beat him down as he trash-talked Cody and even looked into the camera and trash-talked Cody Rhodes' mom. It was the first time in years that WWE used blood to further a feud. If not just for that, this deserves to be on the list. Number 3, MJF and CM Punk. On March 2nd, 2022, CM Punk was in the ring discussing the bombshell that had happened the week before. See, on the previous week's episode of AEW Dynamite, MJF told a story about when he was in school as a kid, how he was bullied by the football team that he thought was his friends for being Jewish, and how much that hurt him and scarred him on the inside. But the only reason that he was able to get through that day is because he knew that later in the night he was going to meet his favorite wrestler, CM Punk, at a meet and greet. So now CM Punk is in the ring. He's talking about how he doesn't doubt that any of the stuff MJF said was real. He believes it happened to him, but he wasn't sure about how sincere MJF is. He names some of the things that he's seen MJF do in AEW, such as berate Brian Pillman Jr. and Brian Pillman Jr.'s mom, and basically put down the legacy of a dead Brian Pillman. But Punk felt bad for the way he was acting towards MJF before this bombshell, so he asked him to come to the ring and talk about it in front of everyone. MJF came out. CM Punk said, listen, I've been you before. The way you are now is how I used to be. Punk says, I looked myself in the mirror this morning and I said, am I a good guy? And the answer is, I sure am trying, as he extended his hand to shake hands with MJF. MJF looked around for a second and he hugged CM Punk. After a few seconds of hesitation, Punk hugged MJF back. They embraced for a few seconds, and MJF grabbed Punk by the shoulder and kicked him square in the peppers. MJF then hits a heat seeker and pops his dress shirt off to reveal a t-shirt underneath with the picture from when he was a kid and he met CM Punk printed on it. Wardlow and Shawn Spears came to the ring. Wardlow handed MJF the Dynamite Diamond ring, and he popped CM Punk with a
punch to the face.
Security started running down to the ring to try to break this up, but they were met with FTR, knocking them and beating them down one by one. MJF then started bashing CM Punk's brains in with the Dynamite Diamond ring, and even biting his bloody wound. He tosses him out of the ring. He gets a dog collar. This was leading into a dog collar match. He puts it on Punk's neck, and they're sort of like hanging him. Then MJF kind of rubs CM Punk's blood all over the shirt on the picture of MJF as a child meeting CM Punk. And now you have a bloody CM Punk essentially hanging because of MJF. Now, if that ain't a brutal beatdown, I don't know what is. Number 2, Brody Lee and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was the very first TNT champion, and he defended the title in like an open challenge every week. So during COVID, it was really helpful for like independent wrestlers who, like, you know, Twitter would say, hey, we want to see this guy on there. So because of it, we got guys like Ricky Starks and guys like Eddie Kingston signed to AEW. But on August 22nd, 2020, Cody Rhodes was defending the championship on Dynamite against Brody Lee, the leader of the Dark Order. All the other TNT title matches were pretty back and forth between Cody Rhodes and his opponent, but not this time. This time, Brody Lee mauled Cody Rhodes. I mean, he beat the crap out of the guy, all right? I don't think Cody Rhodes even got an inch of offense in that one. Brody Lee ended up winning the match and the title after hitting a brutal discus clothesline and pinning Cody Rhodes 1-2-3. After the match, Cody Rhodes is being attended to by the medical staff. They're putting a neck brace on him, and they're putting him on a stretcher. Meanwhile, Tony Schiavone's in the ring interviewing the new TNT champion, Brody Lee. Brody Lee says, nobody believed in the Dark Order, nobody believed in me, and it's people like you who created this problem. I'm a problem for AEW. The medical staff is propping Cody Rhodes up on a stretcher and trying to take him to the back. Well, Arn Anderson, who was Cody Rhodes' manager at the time, is now attending to him too, up on the ramp, and the Dark Order swarm him and beat the crap out of the bloke. Okay? Now they're holding him down to watch what's next as Brody Lee grabs the stretcher, knocks it over, and knocks an injured Cody Rhodes onto the ground. Then Brody Lee grabs a bag, and in the bag is the shards of the old TNT title belt. Cody Rhodes gets to his feet. He's dazed, and Brody Lee smashes him in the head with shards of broken title belt. Then the Dark Order are coming from the entrance stage. There's so much members of the Dark Order, and now they're carrying the lifeless body of Cody's brother Dustin and Cody's friend QT Marshall, and they toss them onto the ground. Brandy Rhodes, Cody's wife, runs out and covers Cody's body to try to protect him. Anna Jay from the Dark Order chokes out Brandy and pulls her off of Cody Rhodes. Then Brody Lee opens the bag and pours the shards of the broken old TNT title belt onto the unconscious body of Cody Rhodes. It was a hell of a beatdown, and it led to another dog collar match, coincidentally, between Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee, which sadly was the final match of Brody Lee's career. And number 1, most brutal beatdown in modern pro wrestling is Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards. Maybe I need 2 sips for that one. On March 1st, 2018, Eddie Edwards defeated Sammy Callahan in the main event of Impact Wrestling. Immediately following that, as the referee hasn't even put Eddie Edwards' hand up yet, Sammy Callahan attacks him and is starting to beat him up. He goes to grab a baseball bat, and before he could hit Eddie Edwards with it, Eddie meets him and starts hitting him, and eventually Sammy Callahan grabs Eddie Edwards and hits him with a shoulder breaker. Now we cut to backstage, and you see Bobby Lashley is trying to come out to make the save, but he's met with Sammy Callahan's stablemates in OVE, and they level Bobby Lashley, and he is no longer a factor. Back in the ring, Sammy Callahan jumps out of the ring, grabs a steel chair, tosses it to the ring, and he gets in there. He sets the chair up on Eddie Edwards to hold him down. Now, I am not a professional wrestler. I can only make assumptions here. My assumption is that Callahan was going to hit the chair with a baseball bat, creating the illusion that he hit Eddie Edwards with a baseball bat. That is not what happened, because as he swung down seemingly full force, he missed the chair and he smacked Eddie Edwards right in the face with a baseball bat.
Being an Eddie Edwards got the no. What the? Oh my God!
Oh my!
What the?
Josh.
I mean, they show you Sammy Callahan's face. It looks like he is like, oh my God, what did I just do? But he's also like, I'm, the show must go on. Like, I gotta, I don't know. It is dreadful, man. I think it's one of the most brutal things you've seen. The sound the bat made as it smacked into Eddie Edwards' skull still echoes in my mind today. So that's my top 5 most brutal beatdowns of modern pro wrestling. Did I leave anything out, Creamers? Why don't you comment below? And while you're at it, why don't you click like? Why don't you click subscribe, copy the link, and send it to your high school sweetheart. Discuss the video, and then afterwards say, listen, I think we could really work things out if we give it a go. I love you, Creamers, and I wish you the best.
Definitely had a little bit too much coffee.